shooting in July is pretty quick. It's a pretty quick turnaround from Chadwick's unfortunate passing.
Well, time of shooting would be roughly a year.
Ooh.
Still, right.
Yeah.
But that's still pretty short if you think about production, right? If production was all in on Black Panther 2, let's say they had the script ready,
Well, remember, shooting for Black Panther 2 was supposed to start in March of 2021. And then it was pushed to July, so a couple months down.
But it's pushed only 4 months, right? Now, if you think that your main character, right, has passed away, the actor who played the main character has passed away, I would think to rework a story, it would take a lot more than 4 months to rework that type of story. It leads me to theorize that there could be some type of recasting going on here. Just because I think in terms of time and how quickly it's moving, it doesn't seem like it seems like you'd have to rewrite the entire movie, obviously, extensively, if you were going the direction of there is no more Black Panther, there was no more King T'Challa. So that's kind of that's a potential working theory right now. Are they going to recast, and who kind of has to take on that mantle? I think we talked about it on this podcast in terms of when he passed away and kind of. I still think that's the wrong move to potentially recast. I think they should retire the character, not necessarily the mantle, but certainly the character, and then honor him. But I don't know. I'm curious to see what you guys think.
I agree. I'm not a huge fan of recasting things in like sequels and whatnot. It just jars me a little bit. Like some examples: OG Aunt Viv. And Aunt Vivian from the new Aunt Vivian from Fresh Prince. It's just weird. You have to get used to it.
Yeah,
it's a different style. Same thing in the Dark Knight trilogy when you went from Katie Holmes to Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yep.
That was weird. It was weird. It was like it felt like two different people.
Right.
You know.
Though the MCU has done this. The Incredible Hulk. Was Edward Norton, and it became Mark Ruffalo.
But let's be honest. You can forgive it when the material is bad. Because you don't care.
Well, then there's
Black Panther is good.
There's also Terrence Howard was the original.
But these cases are all different cases compared to the Chadwick Boseman one.
Yeah, he's the king. He's the king.
He's the king. I don't know. I think it's okay to recast and continue that character because that character is iconic. That character has become a big thing, a big piece of pop culture, and has become, something kids look up to. I think it would be kind of worse to a degree if in the MCU the character actually does pass, obviously similar to real life, and then the mantle of Black Panther is given to someone completely different, as opposed to recast, continue the character, and maybe the character something else happens. I don't know what happens.
So you want to see it recasted?
I think a recast makes sense. When things happen with Carrie Fisher, there was a lot of question about recasting Princess Leia. There was a lot of do we do CG and all this fun stuff. That situation feels different because the character of Princess Leia was an older character. It kind of makes sense in that story. The Black Panther is a young character. He's not old. He's a young character. He becomes king. He does a lot.
He's also the main character of his own franchise and one of the principal characters in the MCU. Like he's supposed to be one of the leaders of the new Avengers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a very tough spot. Like it really, there's no logical answer to it. And I think there is, I think there is, especially talking to TD, I think there is more, there is something to say about potentially honoring the legacy of the character because the character is so important.
Yeah.
It's not, no offense to the Hulk, right? But taking the Incredible Hulk, like he's a cool character. But Black Panther just has a different significance to people and, and culture. It really does. And, it's tricky. It's a business, as well at the end of the day. It's also an entertainment 4 people, so it is
a lot of factors that go into it.
I there's no right answer. You're not gonna bat 1,000 and make everybody happy here. There's definitely going to be, no matter what you do, some amount of people who are unhappy. I think whatever they do decide to do, you got to go all in and go with it.
I think the only way that's going to smooth it over is you just better make sure that the script is dynamite. If there's a good whatever you do, it better be a good tight reason, and the story better be amazing. Like, it sucks, but I feel like there's a little bit of added pressure to Black Panther 2. Like, no matter what their decision is, I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on it, and we're going to want to see some kind, as good of a transition as you can get.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that starts with the script. It starts with a tight story. I remember when we did Rise of Skywalker, and Jules was on the podcast, and we said, if you start Rise of Skywalker at Princess Leia's funeral, right, instead of trying to CGI her in, and she just feels like this,
it would have been way better.
It just felt so weird. So as long as they spend their time on the script and they make it as solid as possible, I think we'll see.
I also think I think it's the producers, the studio folks, they can learn also from their not past mistakes, but their this unfortunately has happened before. Like, we have seen terrible things like this happen. I think learn from what you've tried and what you've done.
Yeah.
And try and move this forward in a positive light.